I've already seen the Infinite Castle, and it has definitely been an experience worth highlighting for many reasons. These so-called movies they've been making with Kimetsu lately, as you already know, are actually just a few new episodes that the public hasn't seen yet, stuck together. This isn't something new, it's been done in the industry for a long time. Let's say Kimetsu made this even more popular. Let's not forget that this manga is among the best-selling ones in history. As I often say, I don't fully get it. While I think Kimetsu is fine and has some great aspects, as we'll discuss soon, I don't see what's so special about it. We're not here to criticize Kimetsu today since it's an honest work that delivers what it offers and doesn't pretend to be something else. Or it pretends to be something else to trick you, which also helped it succeed. A simple, enjoyable plot with cute, well-designed characters, aura farmers, good fights, varied enemies, and clean humor. Anyway, let's just say that what Kimetsu does, it does very well. I saw this movie with absolutely no expectations. In fact, it's actually a miracle that I ended up watching it. I don't sympathize with Aniplex, as the company has caused me several problems while I've created content. The Infinity Train, honestly, I didn't like it that much. I thought it was an entertaining movie, and as always with this work, a visual spectacle, of course, but I didn't connect with the character who I was supposed to connect with deeply. I mean the Pillar Rengoku. Jokes or funny comments about the character aside, the truth is I do think he's a good character. And his strong commitment to always do his duty. Honestly, it turns out great. Like I said, it didn't seem like a big deal to me back then. I'd have to rewatch the movie to give an updated opinion from my current perspective. But anyway, you guys let me know if you're interested in me doing something like that or not. The thing is, since the biggest peak in all of Kimetsu no Yaiba, according to the fans, of course, was Rengoku's sacrifice, it just didn't seem like a big deal to me, and I simply felt that what was shown was fine, but I couldn't connect with Rengoku. I assumed the rest of the series wasn't for me. For better or worse, I'm mainly an anime content creator. Therefore, I can't or shouldn't avoid related products that are trending or highly acclaimed. Because 1, I want money, man. 2, I don't like feeling like I'm falling behind on current topics in the industry. And 3, I know there are a lot of people who want to hear my opinion. Often, deep down, I don't have much worthwhile or interesting to say about some products. In any case, the Infinite Castle has surprised me, and honestly, I'm not going to give you any surprises. It didn't surprise me because of its visuals, since it looks identical to any animated product from Kimetsu, and it didn't surprise me because of its characters, fights, or tension. Indeed, the character I liked the most and who fascinated me the most was Akaza. Honestly, there are no fully impartial criteria, and just like when a product from a franchise you really like comes out, sometimes you try to minimize the mistakes you're seeing. It happened to me with Dragon Ball Daima. Similarly, consciously or not, you may overanalyze a product you've stigmatized, focusing on its flaws or mediocrity. I went to see this movie being really picky. Just like that ugly critic from Ratatouille. Do you know those memes about trying not to laugh so you don't lose your snob status? Well, that's exactly how I was, literally. That's how I was with Akaza. What I saw about his lore, I liked more and more, and in the end, I couldn't take it anymore and had to give up my snob status. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, as Jack the Ripper said. Let's go step by step. First, we'll review and summarize the movie, then address that. Sorry, I forgot most of the names again because I'm too lazy to look them up, so I'll call them whatever I want. Thanks for understanding. And one moment before we continue. This isn't an ad. Well, it's spam, but it's not a commercial ad as such. I want to remind you and inform you from time to time about the expanded Beelzebverse, alright? For those who only know me from this anime channel, I also have a secondary channel where I do podcasts, talks, reactions, we talk about news, and well, a bunch of super cool stuff. And I also have a third channel where I upload gameplays, well, a bit of everything, alright? It's newer, and anyway, you'll also have everything in the description. Lastly, I'll leave you my Kick channel where I stream. It's where I currently do all my live shows, and anyway, like I said, we do a little bit of everything. Also on the live streams, I consider myself a bit of a variety streamer. All right, the bread's done. Let's get to it. The movie opens with the blind guy talking to his dying boss in bed, who tells him the usual things. And honestly, in Kimetsu, everything is really stereotypical. Stop, Muzan. He's bad. You must defeat him. I'm going to sacrifice myself. Please take care of my kids. Bye. Instantly, we jump to Muzan and all the craziness happening in his infinite castle. which looks more like a mix between the back rooms and Giratina's distortion world. He delivers the most boring, generic villain speech ever, saying things like, "Humans are dumb, you don't understand. I'm so awesome, I love nonsense, and I'm such a clown, haha." And Tanjiro says to him, "No, you're the one going to hell, not me, oh my god. Turn down for what Tuturuturu." Tomio, who saves Tanjiro's butt. For the next 15 minutes, it's just fight scenes showcasing the pillar's animation. I'm not complaining, but that's it. Nothing very interesting to comment on. The first big thing that happens is that Shinobu runs into the demon who killed her sister. That cringe guy who looks like the clerk at the upscale clothing store near you. Honestly, this guy disgusts me, so I'll just call him Popo in the video since I don't remember his name. Shinobu instantly realizes that Popo is the bastard who killed her sister. Shinobu also notices that this guy is extremely fast and dangerous because of what he did to the girl who tried to save her. Popo's speech is even worse than his boss's. He claims to be a cult idol and delivers a revolting speech. About how, oh, we have to kill people so they won't suffer or be afraid anymore. Here they know what for. Put it in me, please. I'm begging you. At least Popo does remember Pilar de la Flor when Shinobu asks him. The hardest part is when, in cases of revenge, the guy asks about the loved one killed by the enemy. He replies, "Who?" But in this case, he actually remembers perfectly. They fight briefly and Popo shares his impressive backstory. He was born mentally ill. They adored him, maybe because he was cute or something. And there, between how much of a psychopath he was and watching people suffer, he developed a disorder that makes him believe killing people is totally justified. What doesn't make much sense is that he enjoys it and drags it out. That part, I kind of missed. What a terrible character, my god.
Actually, what happened with Duma, sorry, with Popo was even more stupid. Oh, my parents are so dumb. Seeing my white hair and rainbow eye at birth, they believed I was a messenger from God. But what they don't know is I can't hear God. And if I can't hear him, that means God doesn't exist. And if God doesn't exist, then all of these people are going to die and end up in nothingness. But there's no problem. Why? Because I'm going to eat them all, and they'll live inside me for all eternity. Oh, I'm such a damn fool.
They fight for a while, but it's useless. Shinobu isn't on the same level. As we already know, or I think we know, I don't remember. Shinobu's body is very weak. She hasn't grown since around age 10 and lacks the strength for tasks that require power. That's why she can only specialize in speed and using poisons by stabbing with a sharp light sword. The demon rips her apart alive, mocking her size. Then Shinobu gets sad because she's the size of a Coke can, but her dead sister appears to her. And what's with these dead people appearing to her? It's fine when it happens once or twice, but in this movie, man, it happens like, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. And always with different characters. I think it's excessive, even for an anime. There, the sister tells Shinobu, "Fight." And Shinobu says, "But sister, my ribs are broken, my lung is punctured, even my soul is shattered." That doesn't matter. What do you mean? Of course. Since you're a ghost, it doesn't matter, right? But she's completely messed up. He says that when you decide to defeat a demon, you do it no matter what it costs. Yeah, not like you, right? What the fuck? Shinobu does her best, expressing admiration for the blind man and regret for what she's leaving behind. She fights hard but loses badly. The demon boasts as Kanao arrives right after her teacher's defeat and makes an unclear hand gesture to her. Shinobu gets killed by Popo. There goes one of the few good characters in the story, damn it. We'll miss you, Shinobu. Of course, the pink-haired girl survived, but Shinobu didn't. Anyway, things happen. Kanao goes wild and fights Popo, as young people say. On the other hand, Zenitsu, who has that player look on his face, reunites with his old companion who is now a moon and a demon. We're going to call this guy the Coward. The Coward acts cocky with Zenitsu since he knows all the thunder forms, while Zenitsu knows only one. We learn that without the first form, the others aren't very useful. The first form is essential. The Coward admits he's jealous of Zenitsu because their master favored Zenitsu. Cowards do disgusting, jealous things. God. This guy disgusts me more than Popo, which says a lot. I'll really enjoy destroying him. Tomioka and Tanjiro learn of Shinobu's death from a bird, lessening the moment's seriousness. We won't give it any importance. Zenitsu calls out the Coward for being cringe, then we hear the Coward's backstory. It turns out that the one with 6 eyes really messed him up. Because he's such a coward and looser, he chose to become a demon, begging on his knees and acting pathetic. And he doesn't suck up to the 6-eyed one, so he gives this lame speech saying it doesn't matter, you have to survive at all costs. No matter how much you have to set aside your dignity as a human being. Blah, blah, blah. He acted all tough, like the strong one, the big shot, just to end up begging for his life, you know? Miserable due to such cowardly, ugly thinking. Still, I won't waste time on Coward. He begged the demon with the eyes for milk, and on top of that, he acts all cocky with Zenitsu. Disgusting. He's just awful. The envious one, this disgusting guy, puts up a good fight against Zenitsu, who seems like he can surpass him, but after being thrown into the void, he always respected the Coward and dreamed of succeeding him, even though he hated him. To complement each other in terms of stances, Zenitsu, with his 47-centimeter dick, pulls a new stance out of nowhere and decapitates this son of a bitch. Even though he was decapitated, the loser kept bragging that at least Zenitsu would die in the fall. Tamayo's elf shows up. Since I forgot his name, I'll just call him Elf. The elf eats the Coward, making him realize how miserable and despicable he is. Meanwhile, he just disintegrates like crap when you flush the toilet, something like that. Goodbye, Chainsaw Man, Part 2. God, what a satisfying death. It made my day, I swear. Here's a super emotional moment where another dead person appears again, in this case, his teacher. And he thanks him for everything and tells him he's proud of him. It's a very touching scene. It made me tear up, I'm not hiding it. This part was fine. Comic scene. And finally, the beast shows up. Akaza. At this point, there's still an hour and a half left in the movie. That's definitely more than what I felt, for sure. The brat, successor to the leader, is visited by the ghost of his dead father. I've lost count of how many dead people appear here. We get a long, somewhat heavy speech. I'm not going to lie to you about how special and amazing Nezuko is. I'm not saying she's not, but I already got it the first 100 times the story said so. Thank you very much. The fight against Akaza starts off intense, with him admitting that Tanjiro is now stronger. I have to say, I like Akaza for his backstory and true personality, but the one he shows here, man, it's disgusting. They fight for a long time with stunning animation until only Akaza and Tanjiro remain.
Hey, it's me again. Sorry to interrupt, but let's not forget the cringe moment that was, "Oh, you fight so well, Water Hashira. Oh, why don't you tell me your name? I want to remember you for the rest of my life." I'm not going to tell you my name. My name is sacred. I won't tell my name to a damn demon like you.
Watch out, Giyu!
I see, so his name is Giyu. Thanks, Tanjiro, for saying that.
Akaza says that the weak are trash and all that crap. But Tanjiro tells him no, that everyone starts out weak and that the strong should be the ones responsible for protecting the weak until they become strong. It's a kind of generic dialogue, but in the context of Akaza and his wife, for example, it fits really well. Akaza tells Tanjiro that despite his strength, he disgusts him. Then another dead person appears, which is just ridiculous now. A character from Kengan Ashura gives an interesting speech, while schizophrenic Akaza punches the air trying to farm aura. It sounded great to him, but looked dumb. Akaza brutally defeats the protagonist until Tomioka arrives and gives Akaza his toughest fight yet. Meanwhile, Tanjiro keeps watching and begins planning how to defeat him. He recalls Akaza focused on Rengoku's fighting spirit, suggesting Akaza can sense such instincts. That's when he remembers a conversation with Inosuke, where he showed him that murderous or hostile intentions can be sensed. It's funny because you just have to feel nothing to attack Akaza. It's simply putting two and two together. It's like Ultra Instinct, but more explained. Tanjiro doesn't realize it and says it'll be useful later, but he still rushes in recklessly. He dodges Akaza's impossible attack and realizes he must enter the transparent realm, or something similar. Don't worry if you don't get it. They spend about 20 minutes explaining, with an anecdote about his father and something else, which, I'm sorry, but that was the part of the movie that felt the most tedious to me. Also that, in the end, it's like Ultra Instinct, an even older concept than Dragon Ball. Stop overthinking, just feel. After everything, that's all it was.
No, but you didn't get it. It's more complex. It's a concept, blah, 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 blah.
Nonsense. It's a desperate attempt by the author to make this seem more interesting than it really is. It's basically Ultra Instinct. Everything else is just fluff. The movie finally gets interesting again. When Tanjiro finally stops lecturing me about how that realm works, he cuts off Akaza's head in one move, and Akaza tries to reattach it. But Tomioka chat, who, by the way, go ahead, kill me, Tomioka, a higher rank than Rengoku, assists with the kill and takes Akaza's head off. It all seems to be over, but somehow Akaza is still alive, even without a head. I'm not sure if this fits Kimetsu's lore or if it was just magic, but it seemed strange. Akaza's head now looks like a foreskin. He's become the foreskin man, how awful. The body just beats them up, but suddenly we see that a mysterious girl also dead. Yes, you guessed it. She stops Akaza. We see Akaza's memories are partly erased or distorted, explaining his behavior. He knows he must be stronger, but doesn't know why. Here's the year's best animated flashback. Akaza, since childhood, he turned to crime because his father was terminally ill and the medicine was extremely expensive. It's similar to living in the United States, so Akaza was often caught and tortured, until he was tattooed with some lines to warn that there was a Honduran on the loose. Akaza didn't mind, as he was willing to endure anything to care for his father. He was a soul who was born to care for others. The one who didn't feel the same was his poor father, who, tired of feeling like a burden and causing his son so much pain, decided to take his own life. So Akaza wouldn't have to suffer anymore, but only after showing him the person he wanted him to be. This is difficult for Akaza, who never wanted this. Despite the hardship, he wanted to stay with his beloved dad, even if it meant caring for him endlessly and suffering. But when someone is sick, they see themselves in a very different way. Akaza vents his anger on locals until a mysterious karate master subdues him with punches and brings him to his dojo, as Akaza has no reason to stay. And then this karate master offers him, or well, almost forces him, to take a job. Akaza, who doesn't have the best options, accepts. The deal is that he takes him as an apprentice, and in exchange, he takes care of his little daughter, who is very sick and needs help. It's said her mother drowned from exhaustion in the river while caring for her. Something that seems untrue and doesn't make sense from the beginning. They tell us a bit about that dojo. It was inherited by the karateka from a wealthy man who was very fond of him. But people from rival dojos wanted to take the property, but they couldn't because the karateka would beat them. They didn't have any students either because every time a new one came, well, they had to leave. Because of problems with these people, only Akaza could withstand all of this, and that's how it was. Akaza was not only an excellent fighter, but even more than a fighter, he was a caretaker. He cared for the girl so precisely, courteously, attentively, and lovingly that something naturally developed between them. The time he spent taking care of his father gave him the skills to care for the sick. But it was his heart that truly loved doing that. Akaza's mindset is clear. As long as we're alive and together, we can do anything we want. It doesn't matter if it's now, tomorrow, or 20 years from now. What matters is being together and alive. For all those for whom we mean something, Akaza mentions that the sick always apologize. Something that doesn't make sense since they are the ones suffering and they're not to blame for anything. Sick people can't help but feel bad. Burdens, loads, problems. They will always tend to think that if they weren't around, in fact, everything would be better for everyone else. Thanks to Akaza, this girl's heart was healed. Akaza didn't understand why the girl cried so much, but indirectly, he was healing her in body and soul. The day the girl was healed finally came. They went to see the fireworks Akaza had promised. When she didn't even have hope of making it to the next year, Akaza never doubted. What matters is they are together now, and you must fight to keep it that way. Something that her mother couldn't bear, since it was revealed that she committed suicide because she couldn't stand seeing her daughter like that, dying. Akaza was the one who changed all this in her mind and made her stop feeling like trash. She proposed to Akaza, making him the happiest man alive. He had her father's blessing too. After all, who better than Akaza for his daughter? This happened when he was 18 and she was 16. They were engaged and about to marry, but misfortune struck their lives again. The other guys, cowards and greedy, poisoned the water, well knowing they couldn't defeat Akaza and his master. Akaza's master and his wife died. Akaza, possessed by infinite rage, went and took the lives of dozens of people, crushing them like flies. Akaza was turned into a demon. His memories were lost and altered. We're back to the fight. After expressing his hatred for the weak and cowards, Akaza realizes he must stop and end himself. Akaza makes a final attack on himself, destroying his body, but still can't die. This was a 1-on-3 fight. Akaza against Tomioka, Tanjiro, and Akaza. Still, they couldn't defeat him. Akaza tries to stop his regeneration, but fails. Then he speaks to his deceased family, and I'm sorry, I can't make a joke here. He asks his dad if he's okay, and his dad says yes and thanks him. Akaza apologizes for not living the honest life he promised. Then they smoothly shift to his other dad, the karateka, who says none of it matters now, but they can't take him with them. And then Muzan shows up and confronts him for, according to him, lying to him. Muzan almost manages to take control again. But then his wife appears, thanking him for everything again. She tells him that it's enough now and that it's time to stop. Akaza regains his humanity, making his wife happy that he finally remembers them. His family welcomes him home, all of them, and my God, I'm in tears writing this stuff. It can't be. I'm God. As I get older, I get more emotional. I can't help it. This thing just makes me sensitive and it's disgusting. Akaza leaves and images reveal he went to hell where his wife chose to join him for the rest of eternity. Damn it. I don't care about the movie anymore. Turn it off. I'm sorry, Akaza. This shit hit me hard. The first half of the movie is kind of meh, but the second half is literally cinema, 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 and cinema. You don't think it's possible? But Akaza has driven me insane. I can't go on. After telling you this, you can guess what I think. I'm completely destroyed. I know that's the goal, but it has left me completely destroyed, which I realize isn't the objective, since I know what it's like to take care of sick relatives from a very young age. Even to this day, I still do it. And inevitably, I empathize a lot with Akaza, really a lot. Surely after this, Kimetsu won't have anything else to offer me. But hey, with this, I'm already satisfied. Since Rengoku didn't matter to me, I didn't feel that duality when Akaza died. Some claim this is an Obito whitewash due to a flashback, but that's not true. I'm not excusing anyone, just sympathizing with his story. Obviously, he deserves to burn in hell just like he is now. But you can't expect me not to be affected by what he went through. See you in the next videos. I need a break. Bye.